All right, welcome to Polarstar Engineering and Manufacturing, the home of where the Polarstar Fusion engine, jack, and the future F1 are being made. I want to give you guys a quick tour of this facility. It's pretty cool because this thing is made all in the US. Everything they make, for the most part, aside from the polymer stuff, comes from here on this rack. It's 6061 aluminum, and I'm warning you guys, it's kind of loud in here because this place is rocking and rolling today. So everything starts from right here, just big hunks of metal on the rack. And where it goes next is this multi-axis turning machine right here. It's called the Eurotech Elite. Now what this thing does, it's a lathe and a mill. It kind of does both, so it lets it you can kind of do a lot of work in one pass. Inside, it's making cuts, it's doing lathing, it's milling, it's doing all the work, and then the final pieces come right off the assembly line right down here. And what you're looking at here from that bar of metal, when it comes in, the round piece, it spits out to these, including all the individual components. So when it's done, you get one unit, pretty much the top part of a Fusion engine, which is working on right now. Moving on over, you do have a full lathe right here, and what they're working on here, they're pumping out SR25 spacers for the jack unit, or actually for the Fusion engine unit, so you can actually use this in SR25 for the version 2. When the pieces are done, they go over here to this rack right here, and you've got in different stages of completion, because at this point, some of them need some extra CNC machining, and we're gonna go look at that right over here. So when those components come off there, like I said, they need a few extra things. Right now we're looking at jack doughnuts. These are actually called donuts, believe it or not, and they go inside. So when they come off that lathe over there, they'll look like this, but when they're finished, they'll look like this. And I'll get them close for you. They're actually putting the extra holes in for the different components. I have no idea how this thing or what it does to work, but this is the next step. Going from this, we're gonna move on over this way, and got some cool stuff over here. We'll talk about that later. Then you've got their test and build center. So what you're looking at here is different guns, whether it's part of giveaways, co-promotions, or custom built guns for different companies like retailers. You're gonna find them right here. Moving on down the rack, you've got all kinds of crazy stuff here. Some of these are, like I said, testing, they use it for development, or like I said, sometimes customers may have some challenges getting their Fusion engine or something installed, especially in certain guns, or it's time for a little bit of maintenance. They do take those in to work on and repair for them. Now for the final piece, you saw how the individual components are made from metal all the way down to the individual pieces. This is where it all gets put together. So right now, today, the assembly, we're looking at version 2 Fusion engines. So we have the front cylinders, the center cylinders, the stuff we saw coming off that multi-axis turning unit at the very beginning. They all end up over here after they've been anodized, and they get assembled by hand all the way down the line. When you get over here, you actually are tested. They're tested by 3 different pressures of air: high pressure, low pressure, so around 150 PSI, about 70 PSI, and then they're tested one more time using a very delicate instrument that measures just the minute amount of leakage to make sure everything is sealed up all the way. It's called a flow meter. If I got that right. Off camera, did I get it right? I got it right. That was the one I was worried about. And then once all those pieces are together, including some of the other bodies and components, this is the final piece right here. You're looking at the Fusion engine. In fact, this one right here is a special edition that Polarstar is making for EVIC. So you'll be able to only pick these up at evic.com here soon. And it was commissioned by EVIC for Polarstar to build. And that's it. And that's for today's build. And of course, there's all kinds of stuff coming off this line. Sometimes it's the jack. In fact, there's a bunch of jacks right down here below they finished up working on. But that's it. That is how, from start to finish, how Polarstar products are made. All right, guys, and last but not least, I wanted to show you this. I'm back in their testing area, the new FCU that they have coming up for this year, and this is it. This is the actual one. They've shrunk it down in size. Look how big this one is. Now, this one's still, they're modular. You can still use this, and this is still great for the Fusion engine. It lives in the buffer tube. But if you have a gun that has limited buffer tube space, let's say like a Magpul stock, and you want to squeeze a battery in there too, this is for the upcoming F1 engine and, of course, the existing jack. This one goes inside the mech box shell. You still keep all the same functionality. It's programmable through the trigger versus the joystick and the screen on this one. So you have a little different way to program it, but you still are infinitely adjustable. You can adjust all the settings just the same, including like rate of fire in single number increments. So you have all that, and the Bluetooth ones on the way. But what they've done with this, from this, again, they're always innovating, is they've greatly reduced the battery consumption to the point where here, you know, a couple days, if you forget to leave your battery on, the little guy like this, and you forget and you leave it plugged in, well, a couple days later, you might have this thing dead. This one, we're talking about a year of battery life, which is insane. So they've done a really good job, again, always updating and innovating their products. So guys, check it out. And again, like I said, the Bluetooth one's on the way. I've seen it. I haven't been able to pull it out. They wouldn't let me, but it is coming too, and I can't wait to see all the new stuff from Polarstar.